The Bracero Years and the History of Tex Mex Music by guest author Rudy H. Garcia for the Writers of the Rio Grande. The Bracero Years and Tex Mex Music. The Bracero program during the 1940s and later the farm-working migrant families of the 1950s contributed greatly to the growth and evolution of Tex-Mex music. During the Bracero years, after a hard day's work sunup to sundown, in the evenings after supper as a form of relaxation and a means of soothing the hardships of being poor and far away from home, families would gather in their labor camps. The gathering place was usually in the center yard of the tents or huts. As you are well aware, Mexicans like to gravitate to center squares or plazas. They did the same in the labor camps by congregating in the center of camp. The men who knew how to play a musical instrument would bring it with them. They brought guitars, accordions, bajo sextos, small drums, violins. Some even brought horns and tambourines. They played music and sang songs from their home regions. I say regions because these Bracero workers came from all different parts of Mexico and Texas. The result was the marriage of traditional Mexican music and song, accompanied with guitars, horns, and violins, and Tejano music and song, accompanied with guitars, accordion, and bajo sextos. This musical marriage gave birth to the Tejano, conjunto, norteño sound. After the Bracero years, Tejano families continued migrating north to harvest the crops. They started in the southern Texas cotton, onion, melon, and watermelon fields. They started in the late spring, early summer, moved north picking crops on fields from Brownsville, Texas, and the rest of the Rio Grande Valley, on northward to the Corpus Christi area fields, then Central Texas, West Texas, and North Texas. After picking clean the Texas crops, they kept moving, Arkansas, then further north. They traveled from the tip of South Texas to the northernmost states to harvest apples, potatoes, cherries, and all the other northern crops. After picking, packing, and shipping every U.S. crop, they tracked back home in late October or early November. North, however, was not their only plotted destination. They migrated east to Florida and, of course, west to California, picking every farm field in between here and there. Guess what? Wherever these hardy farm workers traveled and picked, you guessed correctly, they were followed by Tejano music conjuntos, music bands. These musical touring groups, many of them former migrant farm workers themselves, followed the migrant families. They played Friday and Saturday night dances, moving from farming town to farming town, state to state. Although the farm worker migrant families were not paid a lot of money for their very dignified labor, they still made the important decision to take their wives and children to these dances. It was a hard-earned reward to themselves after working extremely hard in the fields all week. Because of this very special and important group of people and their work migration, Tex-Mex music grew up in prominence, spread, became known, and familiar throughout the entire United States.